Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do a knife ramble about modding knives. So first off, I'm not a modder. I don't do any mods myself. The most I've really done in terms of actually like modding a knife is I've taken some sandpaper right here and I've knocked that little corner down that used to hurt when I would disengage this knife. I've also like knocked a burr or two off of a tang or lock face or whatever, right? Little shit like that. I do a lot of disassemblies and stuff like that. I've maybe bent a lock bar or two in my day. That's about it, right? I don't do actual mods. I don't anno stuff. I don't dye stuff even. I don't Cerakote stuff. I don't regrind stuff. I don't even sharpen stuff. Okay. Um, so for modding, there's a few people slash companies that I like to use. And some I've used a lot. Some I've used a good bit early on. I just haven't used them in a while. Like BJ Hill of Hilltop Knives and Gear. Sadly, I don't have a sticker for him right here, so I can't show it off. Sorry, BJ. Love you, dude. He recently got hacked on Instagram, so there's a new account. I'll link it below. I'll link all these places below. And a company I just used for the first time, River's Edge Cutlery or the Rec Custom Shop. And they're going to be getting more of my business. They mostly do like Cerakote, right? Knife modders do like everything. They even have a mill now, so they're doing like frag patterns and shit. BJ does different things. He does anno, he does dyeing, obviously, he does heat anno. He will sharpen. He'll do modifications to the blade, like he did a flipper delete on this guy. Also another place is OCD for EDC. So BJ Hill and OCD for EDC are awesome. OCD for EDC did the nubbin delete. There used to be a Teletubby on top of here, like a front flipper tab that was huge. And he knocked that off. And then it got sent to knife modders. I'll go over each knife in a second, but I just wanted to talk in kind of who, what, where situation. There's also Fanatic Edge I've used for Cerakote. They do other stuff. I had them do a frag pattern and Cerakote on a Chavez before. Basically, they took this knife, but with a G10 show side, and it was the larger version, but whatever. And they put a frag pattern in on the show side scale, and then they Cerakoted the lock side scale black, the clip black, and they did all the hardware in a blue color. If you guys have seen my matching Chavez 229 and Scapegoat that I had, I sold both. It's weird. I tend to mod knives that I feel like I might sell, and then I sell them anyway, right? I kind of do it to breathe life back into them sometimes, and it doesn't really work out. Or I just already have another one. Like knife modders have done a bunch of knives for me. And I've sold an F5, I've sold a Malibu, I've sold other stuff they've modded for me. And not because they didn't do good mods, they did great mods. Just because I already had those knives and I didn't need multiples, or I just needed cash or whatever. You know how it goes. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, you have knife modders. They are hot right now, and it's for good reason. They do excellent work. They kill it. I think their books are still closed. They might be open again now. I'm not sure. They do all types of mods. It's incredible what they do. It's two people, Lindy and Richie, a couple that lives in California, and they do all the work, and they absolutely slay. Like, they do like professional ass level, like knife making level quality of mods coming out of those two. It's really impressive. It really is. I sent them the first knife that I sent them, and I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna see what they can do. I've heard some shit, right, that they're pretty good, and it just it was on another level, guys. If you've seen my unboxings of their stuff, like, it's hard to explain how good they are. You just don't expect it. And I'm not saying that because they're not, like, those type of people. I just mean, like, Fanatic Edge, for example, an established sort of company, you know, they have a website, all that stuff, right? Lindy and Richie just started taking in knives, right, on Instagram. And I think they were doing it on Reddit for a while, too. So, like, they didn't have that, like, presence, right? But their work is just utterly amazing. And now they do have that presence. I mean, check this freaking sticker out. That's dope. Backpack B hooked it up for them. He hooked it up for me. He's hooked it up for a lot of people. But anyway, shout out to Brent. Knife modders kill it, guys. River's Edge Cutlery, they have a custom shop where they do Cerakote, essentially, is what they do. Go check out some of their projects. I'm linking all this stuff below. They did an Arius for Jake. They've done a few of those. They've done a few Veros. They've done a lot of stuff, right? BJ Hill. He is out of Virginia. He's a good dude. He does all the work himself. And the way I kind of viewed it was like when I had a knife that was sort of like, you know, sub $200, those are the knives I sent to BJ because I had seen him work on knives like that before, right? I'm not saying he can't do work on premium knives. I just hadn't seen it really posted and stuff. So when I had work for stuff like this, I sent it to BJ, and he absolutely kills it. And price-wise, it's reasonable enough that it's worth, you know, having the work done. Because, you know, sometimes you get mods done, and it's like it costs more than the freaking knife, and it is what it is. It's you know, the nature of the beast and all. But BJ's very reasonable. Knife modders are very reasonable as well. Honestly, all of what I'm naming are. So anyway, BJ's an awesome dude. He also has a YouTube channel, Hilltop Knives and Gear. Again, link below. Go check it all out. Great people. And yeah, I'll go over the work he did for me. And then OCD for EDC is another one. Again, he did the Flipper Delete on that. And he's done tons of stuff. You can watch his channel. He has tons of mods on there. I haven't had him do much, just, you know, circumstance or whatever. But he definitely does excellent work. The dude is OCD. The dude's anal. The dude is, like, on point with his knowledge when it comes to knives, engineering, that kind of shit. So I trust him fully and would totally recommend him. Anybody I'm mentioning, I recommend. Fanatic Edge, again, highly recommend. Anybody else I've used? There's a couple others that are on Instagram that I've seen. I just haven't had work done. I can't remember the name of them all. I think there's an American Edge modders or something like that. There's a bunch of people, right? I think Knife Nerd Reviews, John, I think he even does work for people, like, modding wise, if you reach out to him. I'm not sure if he just does it, like, as a friend kind of thing, so I'm not sure. But anyway, needless to say, you guys, here's what you could do if you want. List some of your favorite modders in the comments so that the other people watching this can read through the comments and just get ideas, right? Just list the name of the company or a link to their Instagram or website, and then kind of just give a brief description of what they do so people have an idea. If they're looking for a specific thing like Cerakote, you go to River's Edge Cutlery. If you want basically anything done, you go to Knife Modders, right? So yeah, that's kind of the deal there. I would love your input, guys. Make sure it's somebody reputable that you've used. I don't want, you know, anybody down there that's not trustworthy. So anything in the description is totally trustworthy. My word on that, right? Anything in the comments, I can't really, you know, guarantee or anything, but it's always good to get ideas. So anyway, real quick, let's go over these knives. The Knife Modders did both of these. I don't know if I might have some other stuff loaned out they've done, or I've sold them. I just, off the top of my head, I have, like, no knives right now. They're all loaned out, so it just is what it is. But yeah, they did an amazing job on this Liang Ma Cuff version 2. I've showed this a few times, but anyway, OCD for EDC did the nub and delete. Now, they could have done it, but I had that done, like, at a different time before I thought to mod it. So he did that, did great work on that. Again, he could do that. They could do that. BJ could do that. They, I think, only do Cerakote at River's Edge Cutlery. So a lot of places could do the flipper delete. Then Knife Modders did this unbelievable bark pattern. I mean, they now do a sort of crossfade bark pattern or something. I'm interested in getting something done with that. Look at this. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And then they also added this access to the lock bar. So the way that you see this side cut, that's how both sides were. They were literally like even flush, and they just had this little chamfer here. And it was hard to kind of get in there and push that lock bar over. Now I just have so much room. I feel like there might be something in the bearings because, listen, not sure. I can kind of feel hear the bearing. There is, I think, Gillian's in here, so it's possible something seized up. I might just drop some oil in there. But anyway, drops, excellent action. But that access is just a game changer on this knife. I actually just sold my Field Duty the other day, and that's because of this knife, guys. Like, I have the Field Duty EDC, and I love that. But this Lefty Cuff version 2 just kind of hits the spot that the Field Duty was kind of filling, and it is more my size, right? 3.5-inch blade versus, 4 inches. So I sold the Field Duty. Shout out to Q Ball who picked that up. But yeah, the work they did, they also put a ridiculous edge on this thing. So just beautiful, beautiful work from them. And then they did my Aloni Knives Goat version 2. They redid the ano. I had a buddy do the ano and the die. That was MB Wild on Instagram. Another great dude who does dyeing and other mods, but I don't think he does it as a service. He might. I don't know if his books per se are open at the moment. You can always reach out, but I think he's kind of busy right now. Anyway, he had originally done bronze ano on everything, and then he dyed these scales. This was a red G10. And now it's this like Merlot color. These are the coolest G10 scales I've ever seen. Most people think this is micarta or wood or something. He just did such a good job on this G10. It really changes the knife for me. But then Knife Modders did the ano here and on the hardware. I love that contrast. Just looks excellent. And then they did a regrind on this blade, down to probably somewhere around 10 thousandths behind the edge. And I'll tell you, this thing is a flippin' laser beam now. The action is amazing on this thing. They just do such good work, such clean work. It's really amazing what they do. So that's Knife Modders, guys. Definitely check them out. River's Edge Cutlery, guys. I just got this back today, and I am over the moon. So this was actually a stock 80-20.5, but I had fat carbon scales and skips on it, right? In it, whatever. And I sent this to River's Edge Cutlery with the request to Cerakote everything black except the scales. So what they do in that case is they take anything that interfaces with the blade or the lock or whatever, and they cover that, and then they Cerakote everything, right? The clips, I have the left and right clips Cerakoted, the hardware Cerakoted, and of course, the blade is Cerakoted. The lock is Cerakoted. The liners are Cerakoted. You can see in there, those liners are now black and Cerakoted. Just freaking sweet, guys. Now, yeah, Cerakote's not going to have, it's not going to be as durable as like a DLC or PVD or something, but that's okay. I don't mind seeing a little wear. I just wanted to see this knife blacked out because these scales from Fat Carbon just seem to scream for that, right? They also put this really good edge on it as well. I actually haven't cut anything with it, so I can't speak to that, but I'm going to go ahead and assume. Holy shit. Yeah. But I mean, the difference this knife without the Cerakote and with is incredible. I mean, it really transformed this knife. I already love this knife, but now I like really love it, right? And I have another one of these in the shark's foot, and it has toxic fat carbon scales. And you'll see that the fat carbon, it has black in it. So that's where I got the idea. Like, why not just black everything out? So, damn, I can't get rid of that. A little oil in there and shit. That'll all work itself out. But you just try to get that. There's a little speck of white something in there. OCD much? So that's what gave me the idea, and then I was like, yes, gotta do it. So this one you can see is pretty centered. It's a little off to that side, but it's not bad, right? And we have absolutely no play, and on the skiffs, it drops, right? That's the benefit of the skiffs. You can dial this all the way in, not have the play, and still get the drop. Where I've had a few of these at this point, and I can tell you on the stock bearings, it doesn't do that. You'll have a little play to get the good action on most of them anyway. But so I have a shark's foot one with toxic fat carbon, and that obviously has a little black in it as well as the green and yellow. So I'm going to send that one off to get Cerakoted as well. It'll be fully Cerakoted. Now, I don't know if River's Edge Cutlery will be doing it because they are closing. They closed the books right after I sent this. Like literally the next day they sent a post out that they were closing books. So they're not opening, I think, till March or May or something. So probably not going to be them who does it because I'm going to want to get it done pretty quick. But that one is actually off to the Demcos right now. I sent it out today because the centering was just really bad. And it had what I call lock rock. But I found out that all of them have that. So if you listen, you hear that? And apparently, according to John Demko, that's the tail of the lock kind of rattling in there. So it's not like lock rock in a sense. Like you're not going to get it to fail or anything, right? And if you put any pressure on the lock, it's fully, locked down. So it's kind of just a symptom of the lock or whatever. I don't know if the symptom was a good word. It just happens because of the lock type, and it's really not an issue. It never bothered me on this knife, and I only realized it on the other one because it's something I do when I like unbox a knife. I check for everything. But yeah, so anyway, that one's off to the Demcos to get centered up or whatever, and when I get it back, I'll send it out to get Cerakoted. I'll hopefully have 2 left-handed Lynch deep carry clips. Right now, I have one of those in Stonewash, I think. Backpack B, he ordered a Lynch clip, and somehow he got a lefty on accident. And I guess they never asked to have him send it back. They just sent him a replacement. So he gave it to me. So I actually have like one of the first Lynch deep carry clips for the lefties, anyway, for the Demco 20.5s. And I think it fits the 20. Not sure. But I need to order another one, and then I can get those both Cerakoted, and then they'll match with the clip. Because I hate this clip. It is so hard to get in pocket. Like, it just doesn't want to get over your jeans. That lip just is terrible. I also have a Pops lefty clip, deep carry clip, version 2 Pops clip that Brent sent me. He keeps getting these. He has like 4. And they keep coming with fucking lefty clips, which is hilarious. But anyway, Rec Custom Shop kills it, right? And then this one is BJ Hill. I've had this the longest. No, that the longest. But this is the longest one I've had modded. So this is a Ferrum Forge Stinger that I picked up. Or no, that was gifted to me by Jake over at Bearded Gear. Shout out to Jake. I gave him this bit driver that kind of sucked anyway. Sadly, it turned out that way. And he gave me a Stinger. Well, then I ordered Cerberus scales for it. And when I got it, the detent was just so light. The flipper tab just didn't even do anything, really. Like, it was so easy to fail. It was just annoying. It was like a reminder of the detent, right? But it wasn't so bad with the reverse flick. So what I did was I sent it to BJ Hill. And I asked him to do a flipper delete. So he deleted the flipper. And then he put an edge on it, and then he heat anoded the hardware and the clip, right? So now you have a flipper deleted Stinger. It's much more comfortable in hand because you can put your finger anywhere. And the detent is more dialed for the reverse flick. Now, after that, I got a little bit cocky, and I tried bending the lock bar out to get more detent because I still wanted more detent. So the action the drop action from here down is tighter now because I did that. There's more lock bar pressure, and I might have made it too stiff. So if I go up here at the top of the hole slot, sometimes I miss it just going for it. But it's fine. It's definitely better. I like it set to this, detent, but I may have, inadvertently caused some issues. The centering is off. I think this one just needs to be tightened, or it wasn't off before. So I'll have to look into that. I haven't really carried or used this knife in a long time. I use it for size comparisons and stuff, but it's just not a knife that I enjoy carrying all that much. But it is a great knife. Like, I really like how thin it is and comfortable it is. It cuts really well. So it's just me. It's not the knife, right? I have had some rusting issues with it, like in that pocket. I bought another one of these that I had BJ Mod, and I gave it away on Patreon. And that one came with, like, rust in the bearing pockets. I actually have skiffs in here. Look at that. It came with rust in the bearing pockets I had to clean out. Like, just weird shit like that. I hate bead blasts, especially Wheeze, but a great knife. And BJ does excellent work, guys. I've had him mod a couple of CJRB feldspars, which was pretty cool. I did some projects with him about a year ago, and I just haven't done much lately. This was probably one of the last ones, and it was around Blade Show that I had this done, and he actually brought it to Blade Show and gave it back to me, so that was pretty cool to get it back there. So BJ Hill is a great dude. Check him out as well, guys. And that's really it. That's just kind of, a little bit of rambling about mods and who I like to use, and that's just out of who I know and what I've done. You know what I mean? I don't, I'm not saying the person you like to do mods for you isn't good. I just maybe don't know them, right? Or I haven't had a chance to use them yet. There's so many cool people that do so many cool things in this community. Like, there's a whole segment of people who love worry cheese. Shout out to the worry cheese guys. I think that's what it's called. It's worry-free cheese, I believe. Shout out to Jake. There's a whole group of donut people. Shout out to Ryan Rimmer Designs. He makes freaking donuts out of materials, and people love that shit. There's a whole community that does clips. Shout out to Johnny T, man. I found out about Johnny T through somebody during a live stream. I forget who it was. If it was you, please leave a comment and remind me, because I really appreciate it. And I reached out to Johnny T, and he makes these incredible clips. You guys are going to see them in a video coming up. And I bought 2 of them. They're like these, he acid washes, and it's like black Timascus, acid wash, some shit. So it's like gray and black tones Timascus. And I got one for 2 of my CKFs, the Evo 2.0 and the Satori 2.0. And he even like made it so that on the Satori 2.0, the clip kind of rides over to the side and lands off of the lock bar, where the normal clip lands right on the lock bar. And as a lefty, so this is in reverse because it's a left-handed knife. If you're flicking this right-handed and it's a left-handed knife, look where my finger is. It's right on the lock bar, so you lock up the detent, right? And that's where the clip lands on the Satori. So it absolutely sucks to try to flick left-handed. Well, now the clip is going to land like up over here off the lock bar. And if I can maneuver correctly, I might be able to do a reverse flick. Plus, they're just badass looking clips. But there's people who do that. A Purvis Knives does clips. I know I'm forgetting shit, guys. Vero now does laser etching on his fulcrums, right? So there's people out there that offer, laser etching. or whatever that's called. There's people out there that offer anodizing only. There's people that do all types of stuff, spa services on your knives. Like, there's people who do leather work, right? You can get slips for your knives. I have some coming. Like, it's just endless, guys, and it's so freaking cool. And I appreciate every one of you that puts time into a hobby like that, right? Like, my time goes into making videos to post on YouTube, right? And now some of my time is going into trying to start a knife company. But if I took that amount of time and put it into one of these type of hobbies, like modding and stuff, it's just, I just appreciate the people that do that. It's amazing. And I thank every one of you that has recommended a modder to me or a company to me. Anybody who's done any work for me. I really appreciate it, guys. This community, that's what it's about, right? We all want to help each other. We get more joy out of helping somebody else achieve what they want to achieve as opposed to getting what we want, if that makes sense. When there's knives for sale and I know that somebody wants this specific knife, it makes me so happy to reach out to them and be like, hey, dude, I saw this knife posted here. I know you wanted one. Or this seems like a U knife, right? I say that all the time to Kevin over at Knife Nerdery. Like when I got the OEM slut here, I reached out to Kevin. I was like, dude, this is a U knife. This is a Kevin Knife Nerdery knife, right? So essentially it's a Kevin knife. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, dude, that is exactly a me knife. And I sent him a link to get one. And he did, and that filled my heart with joy. And that's just, I feel like that's how I try to be as a person in general. Not just in this community, but in my life, at work, at home, right? And I think we should all try to be more like that. And that's what this community embodies. And that's what I think drew me in so much. And what makes me just love all of you so much is that sort of trait that we all seem to have. We all have common bonds in a lot of different ways. And I don't know how I got this far off track, but basically I'm saying I love you guys. All right. Check out the knife modders, please. Check out River's Edge Cutlery or Rec Custom Shop. Check out OCD for EDC. Check out BJ Hill, right? Check out Fanatic Edge, American Edge Modders or whatever it's called. Just check out all these places. There's other retailers that do mod work. It's just so cool. So I hope you guys out there find something that makes you happy in terms of switching up a knife, because that's another thing when it comes to this. I like to mod knives that I enjoy. So there's two types of knives that I mod, right? There's mod A, where I get a knife and I like it enough, but it has some kind of issue that I don't want to deal with. I'm not going to carry it because of this issue, right? All right, so my options are sell the knife, right? I'm not, like, it's an issue. I'm not going to end up carrying it. I'll just sell it, right? But option B is, can I fix whatever that issue is? In which case, would this knife be even better? Like chopping off a Teletubby that's kind of ugly and getting more lock bar access? Would that make me love this knife? Yeah, I think it would. Okay, so let me get that done. Maybe it cost me $150 or whatever. I don't know how much exactly it cost me because I had like 3 or 4 knives done and I paid in a lump sum. But like, let me pay $100, $150 to get that done on a $450 knife, right? I've already spent that much, so, let's go all in, right? And let's see what happens. Well, I got this back, and this is my favorite left-handed knife. It's one of my favorite knives that I have in the collection. It has a great detent. It has great action. It has great ergos, and it looks sexy as all fucking hell, right? It's a banger. It's a banger, and it's left-handed, right? Then there's knives like this that I've had. This is the longest tenured knife in my collection, I think. that I've had and I just haven't sold, even though it's not like my favorite knife ever. And part of that is I knew this wasn't worth much on the secondary. Like, I paid $280 for this. There's no way I'd get that. I've already sold one before, and I think I got like $150 maybe for it, right? So you're just not getting a ton of value out of it, so it's not necessarily worth selling. And I also really like it. It just isn't something that I reach for all the time. You know how that goes? You just have knives like the Stinger that are really good that you just don't seem to pick up all the time. But you pick them up enough that they don't get sold, right? Or given away, because I give away a lot of knives. So I will maybe try to spruce one of those knives up to make me maybe like it more and want to carry it, or just for fun, right? And that's what happened with the GOAT, like twice. This thing has been modded a couple times now, just to kind of spruce it up. And it did. I love this thing the way it is. Way better than the way I did before. So that's kind of two ways to look at it. And then there's just the aha knife, right? Where I had this and I was fidgeting with it one day and I was like, you know, wouldn't it be badass if this was all blacked out? And then I tell my friends, right? I'm in a group or whatever, and I'm like, yo, guys, what if I got my 80-20.5 all blacked out? Like, everything but the scales. And then your friends are like, yeah, dude, that would be badass, man. That'd be so fucking cool, right? So now my juices are flowing, you know? And then I'm like, hey, who could do that work for me, right? Oh, well, River's Edge Cutlery does Cerakote at their custom shop. All right, let me reach out and see if they could do it. And then I reach out, start a conversation, bang. You know, now I'm sending them a knife, and we're good to go, right? So this one was just like a, aha, gotta do it kind of thing, you know? So there's just a lot of situations, why they get modded and everything. And I will say, that's the one thing you need to know is, yeah, it's not going to be the cheapest thing in the world, but it's also not going to be the most expensive thing. Before I started getting knives modded, I always just assumed it was going to be more expensive than I wanted it to be. You know what I mean? But I think all the work that BJ Hill did on this, he did for like $70 or less, you know? Yeah, it's a $90 knife, but it had $80 scales on it, you know? And then I paid another, whatever, $65 or something for all the mods that were totally worth it before I fucked it up by bending the lock bar back too far. I could always try to adjust it. So, like, it's not that expensive, but it does cost money. It's not going to be free. So, it's just a, you know, it's a whole thing. And then there's people, I should mention the people who do like reblades and shit. That's cool. Oh, and one person I totally forgot was Nathan. Nathan's Knives. It's Nathan with a K. So I always say K Nathan because I'm an idiot. Awesome dude. He does all the work by hand. Definitely somebody to check out. Sorry I forgot that one. I'm sure I forgot others. So I'm going to shut up now. That was it. Let me know in the comments who your favorite modders are. Let me know if there's anybody I missed. Oh, one more. Hawaii Knife and Gear. Awesome dude. Works with koa wood and other stuff. And he makes cool scales for stuff. Swiss Army knives. Elementums. He's doing a Malia right now. Or he just did one. That is a really cool project. And it's a gift for somebody awesome in the community. So check him out. But anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I will catch you later.